Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Emily Ferrier, here to bring you some of the weird stuff going on during these even weirder times. It's weird out there. We're going to get into it. Starting us off this week, McDonald's and other brands are making social distancing logos. Everyone's lost their minds. New York, CNN Business, it's not just people that are social distancing, brands are doing it too. You know what? I actually kind of like this. I'm teasing, but I think it's kind of sweet. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Audi, and Volkswagen are just a few of the corporate conglomerates that are interpreting social distancing with logo redesigns. The term has become popular recently because of the spread. Let's see. What else would it be? And social distancing, in case you don't know and you're not following it. Okay? Listen. Social distancing is standing 6 feet apart from others in an effort to lower the risk of contracting the illness. Not just for you, but if you're a healthy person and you think I'll be fine, that's great. What about everyone else that you are putting at risk, right? So just, 6 feet. Anyway, so the messages and logos created to promote this, for people that are not already doing it, are, they've got pros and cons, according to these two experts in the design field. So let's talk about that. Our current global situation is no joke. It's a serious matter. Douglas Sellers, executive creative director, a firm of Segel and Gale, told CNN Business. Very true. And brands designing social distancing logos have the potential to diminish the severity of what we're going through. See, I don't know if I agree with that. I think that it's okay, anyway, the creativity, passion, and thought that goes into wanting to help, educate, and be part of the physical distancing movement is a worthy note, Sellers said. I don't know if it does, well, maybe it does make light of it. But I think, okay, well, let's get into it. Let's hear what Brian Breaker, the editor-in-chief at Ad Age, says. He says it's time for brands to provide real and meaningful service, referencing companies like the Gap making masks for healthcare workers, or the parent company of Christian Dior, LVMH, and Givenchy manufacturing hand sanitizers. So they're making their own hand sanitizer to aid with the shortages. This I agree with. Yeah. Understanding the situation, shutting up and doing something helpful is really the only way to go here. When you see brands like McDonald's or Coca-Cola spacing out their logos in solidarity, it kind of strikes a sour note. That's an excellent point. It's like all these corporations, multi-billion dollar corporations, you'd think that they could use some of their revenue to help out. Cause it's McDonald's is still open, right? It's a delivery, but it's still open. People are still getting McDonald's. I've seen it in my building. So last week, McDonald's in Brazil pulled apart its iconic golden arches, in a picture posted on Facebook. The ad agency explained that despite their temporary separation, there has been closures in some of its restaurants. I guess it's different in each country. We can always be together, it says. So it is offering food. Well, this is confusing. It was offering food through delivery and drive-through. McDonald's ad sparked backlash, including Senator Bernie Sanders, who tweeted on Wednesday about the company's sick leave policy for its employees. The company didn't immediately return the request for a comment about the ad. Hard to answer that question, I suppose. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola spread its logo apart as well. And it says staying apart is the best way to stay united in their ad. Running its ad in New York in the deserted Times Square. The brand usually celebrates togetherness and love in its ads. So that's them, doing their social distancing reference. Audi and Volkswagen, two automotive companies that share ownership. Audi and Volkswagen tweeted their logos for the social media accounts. Audi separated its four rings in a short video telling people to stay at home, keep their distance. They're four rings that are normally intertwined, much like the Olympics logo, but four rings, obviously. So different. So Volkswagen, similar video with an inspirational message and separating their normally linked VW. And Nike, similar situation. It had its little new brand that it's launched says, if you've ever dreamed of playing for millions around the world, now's your chance. Play inside. Play for the world, it says. The Nike swoosh obviously didn't need to tweak its logo, but it launched a large social media campaign with its global roster of star athletes, including NBA player LeBron James, golfer Tiger Woods. Sports ground to a halt in the past few weeks because of social distancing, ban on large gatherings like stadiums. The campaign encourages people to stay inside. Nike has to close several of its global stores because of the virus. However, in Canada, sex toy sales are up by 135% amongst the self-isolation. As the world slowly learns to live in self-isolation, many people are turning to toys, to help them get through the time. Canada is no exception. As the country that I'm from and live in has been buying sex toys more so than others. A recent study looked at sex toy sales across the globe and found that Canada's sales have gone up 135% more than predicted. So, there's that. That's compared to the U.S., where sales have gone up by 75% and Hong Kong by 71%. So it looks like Canada is needing it the most. It's interesting. Here's how others are trending. Italy 60% above, France 40%, Japan 52%, Australia 31%, and UK 13%, because apparently some are doing better than others. Apparently some products are doing better than others. Some are up because we use the WeConnect app that allows partners to control things by remotely. So there you go. It's interesting little development that's going on in Canada. Good for you, Canada. So I'm just telling you again. I'm just telling you all of the kind of trying to lighten the mood. It's very hard to, because like we heard, it's not a laughing matter. But I'm doing my best to. We've got to keep positive, keep trekking. Yeah, when we come back from the break, trends in fashion that are starting now. I'm going to talk about the new trends in fashion from home when we return from our break.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about McDonald's social distancing. It's a weird time. It's weird times, guys. Now, in the age of social distancing, working from home is the new normal, but coronavirus quarantine has actually led to an interesting trend in fashion. Sales for tops are up, and sales for pants are down. You can take from that what you will. Millions of workers, typically bound to business or business casual attire in the office, are now free to lounge around in their homes in hoodies and sweatpants. But tops still play an important role, as employees will have to get semi-dressed for those video conference calls. I had to do some last week before I got laid off yesterday, because that's the economy that we live in. So Dan Bartlett, a Walmart executive vice president of corporate affairs, told Yahoo Finance that the company has seen a spike of sales tops, but not bottoms. So, people who are concerned, obviously, from the waist up, Bartlett says, these behaviors are going to continue to change and evolve as people get accustomed to this new lifestyle, if you will. While Walmart has not closed its stores, Bartlett said the company has seen a spike in online sales because people are not to leave their homes for the most part. Some places are less strict than others. Here in Ontario, we have closed most stores except for the essentials, so, not going into stores, are we? Gap Inc. reported similar findings to the Walmart findings across all of its brands, including Gap, Athleta, and Old Navy. The company told CBS News on Friday. But for people who are buying pants, they certainly aren't reaching for slacks. Gap Inc. said its brands have seen major spikes in comfortable clothing, such as joggers, leggings, sweatshirts, and sleepwear. Our brands have seen an increase in searches for loungewear, sweaters, and other clothing that's suited for at-home wear. Nordstrom declined to comment on specific sales, but said that they'd added categories back to its homepage to reflect customer feedback, including create your own sanctuary, get comfortable, relax and rejuvenate, and keep the kids busy. Other brands have noticed the trend and started marketing their more casual items on social media. Everlane, a brand known for its work-appropriate staples, is offering bundles of comfort on its website, which allows shoppers to pick two of the brand's coziest items at a lower cost, including leggings, sweatshirts, sweatpants, and long-sleeve t-shirts. Men's fashion brand Suit Supply is getting on both sides of the trend. The company recently posted a photo on Instagram of a model wearing a button-down tie and blazer on top and nothing but underwear on the blazer on the bottom. Not the blazer. Working from home doesn't mean compromising on style. Keep your look professional from the waist up, at least, the brand wrote. Scrolling through the Instagram posts, that lead to a picture that says off camera before showing the model wearing a sweatshirt. Tisch art students want their tuition money back because of their remote learning, and the dean sent them a video of herself dancing to REM's Losing My Religion instead. I love this girl. This woman, obviously, woman. So funny. Such a great little story. So as New York University switches to virtual classes, the university's Tisch School of the Arts wants some of their tuition money back. But instead of receiving refund checks, they received a video of the dean dancing to REM's Losing My Religion. While students were outraged by the video, some calling it tone deaf, Dean Allison Green said that her videos were taken out of context and surely neither frivolous or disrespectful. Dean Allison Green attached her dance video to an email to students earlier this week, according to NBC News. In it, she explained that she doesn't have the authority to refund tuition and that it would be challenging for the school to do that, NBC reported. The full cost of a year's tuition at Tisch costs about $58,500. NYU Tisch senior Michael Price told NBC that he thought the video was Green's attempt to reach out to the student body, but that it was tone deaf. I am personally upset that we are being denied access to the equipment and facilities and still being charged the same amount for what is admittedly a lower quality education, he said. Overall, the response to the video online was rage and cringing. Student Eli Yerman wrote in an open letter to Green on an NYU local blog. It was titled, "Please Stop." Yerman talks about students' efforts to seek a refund for their classes and the school's denial. The most recent email, in addition to doubling down on the message, "We're not refunding your tuition," Dean Allison Green included a Vimeo link to a 2-minute and 16-second video where the self-described choreographer and visual artist awkwardly dances and lip syncs to "Losing My Religion." We here at NYU Local would just like to say, what the is this? I mean, Allison, what the? He continued. Yerman said that the students understand the private university functions are complicated and that you can't just wave a wand and give people their education, but the video was a poor choice. Like many schools during the coronavirus pandemic, Tisch too had to turn to remote learning. For many students at the prestigious school, virtual classes aren't cutting it. Students at the school launched a petition seeking partial refunds. In the blog post, Yerman says that even if, in the end, students seeking refund are in the wrong, Green's decision to send out dance video was not thoughtful. Video is not cute. It's uncomfortable to watch. It goes on for too long, and you end it by staring at the camera for a good 8 seconds, and none of it's working in the way you think it's working, he wrote. So savage. In an email statement to the Insider, Green said that she welcomed new students to Losing My Religion for the last 8 years. She said it explained the email that it's a piece that speaks to the frustration and disappointment that helped me see me through the losing 30 friends to AIDS and another difficult period to artists. What I meant to demonstrate is my certainty that even with unprecedented hardships of social distancing and remotely held classes, it's still responsible for the Tisch community to make art together, and that all artists in our school will find ways to remain closely connected, even in circumstances that challenge us, she wrote. If I regret my email left the reasons for my dancing misunderstood, although I will note that I've also received many positive acknowledgments, but the intent was surely neither frivolous nor disrespectful. See? If you don't listen, you'll never know. That's both sides of the story, because I would have thought like, oh my gosh, what a distasteful thing to do. But then hearing the justification for it, I thought, okay, it came from a place of, wanting togetherness and love. So fascinating. Anyway, when we come back from the break, a really horrible story about coughing on produce. Anyway, we're going to talk about it when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back. We were talking about some video responses, maybe in poor taste, but with best intentions, to asking for tuition refund. Everyone is taking a hit here, you know? We're all taking hits left, right, and center. I just got let go from a company that would prefer to let me go because I had, I was like kind of the smallest guy there, smallest, least important person in the office, and they let me go so that nobody else had to take a pay cut, While I understand their decision, it still sucks for me because now I don't have a job and I'm entering into the worst economy ever, but that's life. They needed to keep their salaries where they are, so there you go. Anyway, back to this. A woman who coughed on $35,000 worth of grocery store food is charged with 4 felonies. Yeah, not a funny joke, guys. The store owner says that he was sick to his stomach about the food loss when so many people are worried about the security of their resources. Absolutely. A woman, she played the twisted prank at a Pennsylvania grocery store on Wednesday, purposefully coughing on $35,000 worth of food that had to be thrown out. Obviously, had to be thrown out. Was charged with 4 felonies, including counts of making terrorist threats, police said. Today was a very challenging day, Joe Fasula wrote on Wednesday to the Facebook page of Garrity's supermarket chain, which he co-owns. A woman who the police know to be a chronic problem in the community walked into the chain's Hanover Township store and proceeded to purposefully cough on our fresh produce and a small section of our bakery, meat, case, and grocery. The Hanover Township Police Department said in a statement late Thursday that the suspect, identified as Margaret Circo, 35, was making threats that she was sick while coughing and spitting on all of the food. Circo continued this behavior in several aisles before attempting to steal a 12-pack of beer. And as she was being ordered to leave by the store, by employees. Whew. That's a lot. She was arrested and charged with 2 felony accounts of terrorist threats. One felony account of threats to use a biological agent, and 1 felony account of criminal mischief. She also faces a misdemeanor account of criminal attempt to commit retail theft and disorderly conduct. That is huge. Circo underwent mental health evaluation on Wednesday. Police said, and authorities are working to get her tested for coronavirus as well. While there is little doubt that this woman was doing it in a very twisted prank, we had no choice but to throw out all product she came into contact with. Working closely with the Hanover Township health inspector, we identified every area that she was in. We disposed of the product and thoroughly cleaned and disinfected everything. Fasula wrote that the supermarket staff estimated the value of the food was well over $35,000. I'm absolutely sick to my stomach about the loss of food. While it's always a shame when food is wasted, in these times when people are worried about the security of their food supply, it's even more disturbing. It's absolutely true. In a statement last week, which Fasula announced employees at his 9 stores would receive an extra $1 an hour, he shared that some departments, including the meat and dairy sections, were lacking food as people rushed to stock up in the midst of the pandemic. He said his staff did the best they could to get the woman out of the store as fast as possible and get the police on the scene. The only silver lining to this travesty is that it gave us the unfortunate opportunity to test our protocols and demonstrate how seriously we take your safety. Fasula continued. One thing's for sure, we have the cleanest display and the freshest produce anywhere in the Northeast PA. Whew. That is really awful. I noticed there was a trend of like licking ice cream that came out last year. Not funny anymore. Not funny. A lot of people are getting sick and a lot of people are dying. So not cool. Look at how many charges she's up against now. And like, look at how serious the charges are. This isn't a laughing matter anymore. This is very serious. Sure enough, in updates on Thursday, Fasula posted pictures of his fully restocked shelves and notes of support community members had left behind. I'm humbled by the outpouring of support that our company and our team have received, Fasula wrote. While my previous post received an unimaginable amount of attention, this post is by far my most important, he said, sharing 7 safety tips for how to keep customers and groceries workers safe. P.S. Rule number 8. Don't cough on anything, he concluded. Serco is being held at the Luzerne County Prison on a $50,000 bail. She's due in court on April 8th. Another similar story, a person reportedly licked the Orange Line train in Boston. Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority had to remove one of its Orange Line trains from service on Friday after a person reportedly licked it, according to a spokesperson. The MBTA passenger on the front train reported the alleged incident to a transit ambassador at the Tufts Medical Center station. Southbound train was taken out of service in an abundance of caution, according to the transit authority, and a police department was notified of the alleged incident, and it's not clear what part of the train the person allegedly licked. The incident happened just days after 5 MBTA employees were confirmed to have tested positive for COVID-19, the disease that causes the coronavirus. 5 investigators learned that 3 of those employees were MBTA bus drivers. Effective last week, MBTA implemented rear door boarding on all buses, trolleys, street-level stops to the Green Line and Mattapan Line in an effort to support social distancing. In addition, they implemented new protocols last week to clean and disinfect all high-contact surface on buses during midday layover periods in an effort to protect health and safety of the workforce and customers. This new protocol is in addition to the daily cleaning and disinfecting the MBTA fleet vehicles that take place once every 24 hours. Those protocols also extend to high-contact surfaces at subway stations throughout the MBTA, which are disinfected every 4 hours. Stop licking things, guys. It's not funny. Don't do it. Stop. All right, when we come back from the break, gangs in Brazil now have curfews. We'll talk about that when we come back, so don't go anywhere.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC, Invicta FC, Bellator, and One Championship. We got the fights covered. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Welcome back. It's been fun so far. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. Coronavirus has led some Brazil gangs to impose curfews, a report says. Gangs in some of Brazil's poorest neighborhoods have, in the absence of state intervention, been imposing curfew on its residents to curb the spread. According to this report, the gang stepped up in curfew enforcement following the first case of the virus reported in Cidade de Deus, City of God, the famous favela depicted in the 2002 film of the same name. Favelas in Brazil's capital and other cities have been historically neglected by the government. In some areas, it's not uncommon for residents to go weeks without running water. Some residents say these gangs' intervention in stopping potential outbreak speaks to the severity of the crisis. The drug traffickers are doing this because the government is absent. The authorities are blind to us, one resident told The Guardian. In one video circulating on social media, members of the Red Command gang could be seen with a loudspeaker ordering the residents to remain indoors after 8 p.m. and that anyone violating these rules would be quote-unquote punished. Gangs in other favelas have had similar actions to enforce safety precautions against the virus. In Roquina, one of the largest favelas in Brazil, gang members told residents that they can only travel in groups of 2, must stay inside after 8:30 p.m. In Santa Marta, a favela near Rio de Janeiro's Christ the Redeemer statue, drug traffickers have been giving residents soap and place signs up that read, "Please wash your hands before entering." Brazil's president, Jair Bolsonaro, has been criticized for his dismissal of the pandemic, reactions which he's derided as hysteria. It's amazing what world leaders can do to continue the spread on, when they're pushing it away as nothing and not an issue and, all that. For at least 5 nights, protesters around the country have banged their pots and pans and balconies in a sign of protest against their president's response. It's not okay when you are, when the drug traffickers are taking charge because the government can't. Not a great place to be in. Not a great place. Little bit of fun news, though. In Spain, there is a little video circulating around of a Spanish man sharing a drink with his isolated neighbors in a very creative way. So in as Spanish residents remain quarantined during the outbreaks, many neighbors have found creative ways of connecting with one another while still respecting the isolation rules, the distance rules they have. This particular apartment dweller in Oviedo, Asteres, was filming a drink sharing with his neighbor 2 floors down. Journalist Pelio Barrow managed to capture a video of the man slowly pouring his bottle of cider over the side of his balcony so the liquid fell directly into the glasses of his downstairs neighbors. Upon successfully filling their cups, the man toasted to the city block of neighbors cheering for his unique little victory. Love this story. Do we think that it's adhering to proper? He's pouring a liquid into a cup. I mean, hopefully he wasn't, drinking out of it. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It doesn't sound super sanitary to me, is what I'm saying. Prove me wrong, Prove me wrong. It's cute though, It's very sweet. What are you guys doing for your social distancing? To make it fun? A friend of mine has asked if I wanted to go for a distance walk on the boardwalk, like 2 meters away from each other, kind of just so that we can have some human contact. I haven't had human contact in so long. I forget what people smell like. It's very odd going from zero or from loads of contact, thousands of people every day, to zero. It's very strange. We are in we're in quote unquote lockdown. Essential services are still open, which are pretty loosely defined over here by our premier. It's weird. It's very weird. I'm starting to lose it in my tiny apartment. What are you guys doing to keep sane? Did you know that there's loads of free classes online, Ivy League school free classes online? Let me find the website. Let's see. 450 Ivy League. Oh, here we go. 450 Ivy League courses. Freecodecamp.org. Okay, so freecodecamp.org. 450 Ivy League courses that you can take online for free. If you've ever just been I'm kind of interested in that, but, just didn't take it. Maybe you studied arts and you want to take science, or you studied science and you want to take art, kind of thing. Maybe you're interested in education and teaching, but you don't know if you want to be a teacher. Try out some of the classes. See if you like it. Maybe you, were supposed to be going to school and now you're not because we're living in the weirdest time ever. Check it out. Check it out. See if you're into these things. There's a lot of stuff going on, is what I'm saying. I haven't gone too crazy yet. There's a lot of streaming services. That helps. There's a House Party, the app. I haven't tried it yet, but I just downloaded it yesterday, so maybe start that today. You can tour all the museums and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot going on, is what I'm saying. Tell me what you're doing. Talk to me. We're all so lonely right now, Anyway, when we come back, what counts as an essential service in Canada? Well, we'll talk about that when we come back. The answer will probably not shock you, so stay tuned.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back. For the break. I mean, all of it's coronavirus. What do you think we were talking about? We were talking about coronavirus. What else are we going to be talking about? And now, I did promise you that I was going to tell you what counts as an essential service in Canada. And the answer is, wow, guess what it could be? BC declares cannabis as an essential service. Shocking, right? Of course it is. Of course, that's been declared an essential service. So BC government released its extensive list, emphasis on the extensive. That's true of Ontario as well, of what they deem essential services. The province during the pandemic, and nestled deep in the list, the NDP has decided to join much of the country in classifying cannabis retailers and producers as an essential service. Essential services are those daily services essential to preserving life, health, public safety, and basic societal functioning, the province said in a release. They are the services that British Columbians rely on in their daily lives. There you go. This definition was developed by the Emergency Management BC in consultation with other government ministries and the provincial health officer. How exactly cannabis products, producers and retailers fit into the spectrum was not made clear, but it might serve as a welcomed addition to your second pass at Love is Blind that you will likely go through. Because I think we're all going to finish our entire Netflix by the end of this. The move isn't unique to BC, as most provinces have chosen to shut down non-essential businesses, and they've kept cannabis going. Just call ahead if you plan on swinging by your local pet shop for some pandemic supplies. As some companies are choosing to shutter out of an abundance of caution. Pot shop, not pet shop. Obviously, you know what I meant. I'm very tired. I haven't slept properly in a while. It's been weird. Yeah. Essential services. Not what we thought, you know? In other weird Canada news, a barrel of monkeys is now worth more than a barrel of Alberta oil. The cost of a barrel of Canadian oil fell less than a barrel of monkeys this past Thursday as the oil price again crashed to record levels. Western Canada Select was selling for $6.45 US a barrel, down at $2.84 US from a day earlier. That's because that's below last week's record when it sold for as low as $7.63 a barrel. Price averaged $36.82 a barrel in January, so not that long ago. $30 more. Put that into perspective. A barrel of Alberta oil is now worth $9.08 Canadian, which is less than a barrel of Monkey's Game. A liter of Petrelli extra virgin olive oil or a 30-gram tube of Polysporin, each $9.99 at local drugstores. The impact of the plunging prices have forced a number of Canadian oil producers to slash their capital spending plans this year and trim back production. Some analysts believe that oil prices could still get much lower than this. Crude from Canadian oil sands could well approach zero over the next coming weeks, a research note said from JBC Energy. Even if cash returns turn negative, it's not a given that production will be shut in, especially if heated reservoirs at Canadian oil sands play. But this time, the situation is simply radically different. Others say oil sands bitumen is already worthless, and that's because the blend of bitumen and ultralight oil helps oil sands products through the pipeline. Right now, the ultralight worth is considerably more, which implies the value of bitumen is lower. I don't know where I am anymore. Oil and gas remain one of the country's top exports, contributing significantly to the government's revenues. The oil patch is waiting to see what kind of relief package the federal government will provide. It's all hands on deck for a number of these companies. It's survival mode. The price of West Texas Intermediate North America benchmark also fell on Thursday to $22.60 a barrel, down $1.89. Oil prices are being hit by a vicious double whammy, a crude price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia, and plunging demand as COVID-19 surges on. Rystad Energy, a Norwegian-based energy research firm, says the situation has created such a large global surplus that Western Canada's oil production will need to be cut by some 11%, or 440,000 barrels per day. Country's days away from running out of available storage capacity. The impact is not just being felt by oil companies, but by governments as well. Lower oil isn't good for Canada's trade balance, and the Alberta economy will take yet another hit. One more reason to wonder why the Bank of Canada has held off on cutting rates further, leaving policy rates the highest in the developed world. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's weird things happening. It's weird times. Those prices, look like they're from the 40s. It's all very strange. How are you guys feeling? How are you doing out there? I need to, all I do is record these, talk to myself, and then by myself the rest of the day. I'm going a little crazy. You guys going crazy? What are you guys doing in your time? Is anyone bored? Are you reaching out to friends that you've never talked to? Are you looking? Oh, Pornhub's offering a lot of free stuff. That's cool. It's like their premium's free. There you go. I think I heard something about a video game service that was trying to develop something. I don't know anything about video games, I'm going to be completely honest with you. But that's a thing that might be happening or might not. I don't know, guys. I'm doing my best, okay? This is weird. So, instead of, doing like a silly thing at the end, like normally for the last segment, I think I'm going to do a nice little roundup of the best things to do during quarantine. A list of things to do during quarantine. I'll get as far down the list as I can before, we have to end. So, there you go. It's going to be fun. It's going to be weird. And we're all going to get through it together, right? Cool. Come back for the list. Stay to the end and you'll get a list. Okay, bye.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back. You made it. Super proud. Okie doke. So, this last bit, we're going to do a nice little listo of, the best things to do during quarantine. So that's fun. No? I don't know. Whatever. Point is, list time. All right, what to do during quarantine? Complete a puzzle. The more pieces, the better. Try Rubik's Cube, crossword puzzle, those kinds of puzzles. Start a journal or blog. Sure, it's probably going to be about the coronavirus, but, just cater it to your needs. Dust off an old instrument and practice it. Text all your exes. Just in case there's anything you want to get off your chest. Write poetry to your ex. Watch really long movies you avoided right now because they reminded you of your ex. Get Duolingo or a similar app so you can teach yourself a foreign language. Just swear at your ex. I'm going to stop making it about your ex. Read those books that you never wanted to, like the ones that you say that you've read but you haven't read. Meditate. Or just sit down and close your eyes and just brag to people about how you meditated. Face masks and moisturizer. Start giving yourself a little care routine. Look at pictures of puppies. Look at the slow motion videos of puppies. Cry a little bit. Put together a nice little meal for yourself. But put together an appetizer, an hors d'oeuvre plate, but only with stuff that you actually have in your pantry. That's a must. Because it will amuse me. That's why. That sounds really fun. Write actual letters. Write actual letters to family. Hilarious, right? That's cute. What are you going to talk about? Who knows? Probably this. Learn calligraphy. It's hard to do without the supplies, but learn it. Put on a soap opera, mute the sound, and then come up with your own dialogue. Organize your Tupperware. Boom, that'll take you years. Try on, do the Marie Kondo thing. Try on all your clothes and see if they spark joy. Oh, this is a great time to do the Marie Kondo thing. I mean, there's nowhere to put your stuff, but because you can't go outside. Go through your junk drawer, supply shelves. Have a roommate meeting. About how to be more considerate of one another. Make baked goods. Watch films that won Oscars for Best Picture. Talk about how those films shouldn't have won the Best Picture film award. Watch films that critics say should have won them. And then read all the New Yorker issues that you have, but I never actually read it. Watch every Meg Ryan movie. That's what I've done. Tom Hanks movie. Just fill in the blanks movie. Knit or crochet. It takes up time and you get real frustrated. Use all the video chats to, finally catch up with that long distance friend that you said that you were going to call, but you never actually called. And as soon as they moved away, that they were expecting a call and they've been sitting here all this time waiting for your call and then you never called and, give them a call. Do all of the at-home aerobics and yoga because no one can see you now. Listen to a bunch of songs. I've been listening to nonstop Beatles, and it's been great. Look at yourself in a mirror and attempt a self-portrait. It's going to be horrible. Take a bubble bath and add a glass of wine. Not to the bubble bath, but well, maybe. Could be good for your skin. Sounds like a yeast infection, though. Make a cocktail. Sounds fun. Coloring books. Draw your own coloring book. Reflect on your year and what you want to put as a goal for next year. It's probably just being outside, really. Write a short story or start that novel that you think is a great idea. Actually try to make something you saw on Pinterest. Probably fail. Post it online because it's a great laugh for everybody. Create a little campsite for yourself with like blankets, like a pillow fort, popcorn, scary movies, the whole thing. Sounds great. Fix that broken doorknob, loose tile, scuffed wall. Get a foam roller. Treat yourself to a little massage. Origami. Just do that. Learn how to braid. Throw out all of your old makeup products that like are probably not that good for you anymore. Interview your grandparents. Save the audio. Create a little story out of it. Boom. I once did that for a play. With 52 seniors at homes. It's incredible. What else? What else have we got? Make a list of things that you're grateful for. Not a lot of people do these things. Okay? Be grateful. Gratitude. Happiness. Positivity. Have a wine tasting of whatever you have in your cupboard. Just mix them together. Chuck it in. Who cares, right? Work on financial planning. Learn how to do taxes. Learn how to do taxes, guys. Stop hiring. I mean, don't, because give them jobs, but just why not? Perfect a family recipe. Make coffee, but determine what, how much you need of all the amounts, like grind your own beans, the whole thing. Buy gift cards from your favorite local business to help them keep them in business. Indoor scavenger hunt. Could be very short if you got a small apartment. Dye your hair. Screw it. No one else is going to see it. Write a play starring your loved ones and perform it via a video call app. Rearrange your sock drawer. Just change your life. Do your income taxes. Just do it, do it. Rearrange your furniture. It's time to do it. Memorize the periodic table. Forget the periodic table. Get some IKEA furniture. Put it together. Take it apart. Put it together again. Time yourself. Apply for a new job. Because all of us need them. Build Lego. Try to write with your non-dominant hand. All right, that's probably enough. We're going to have to take it to the end now, so thank you for listening to the Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Please remember to subscribe to the show, rate it a nice review, and rate the episode. That really, really helps us. Please follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And thank you for listening. Have yourselves a good night. Be safe.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.